where anybody else is driving at.
Well, I guess I sort of I've seen a police report filed in County, South Carolina, and it alleges that Chris touched the boy's genitals with a paper towel. Now that's the text of a police report. I was wondering if you're aware of that report and just what you think of it.
I've never heard of that report. They had to accuse him of something to put him in jail because of his political stand. You need to interview Chris, not me. I don't know the details. But I've known Chris for 20 years. He's been a longtime friend of mine. He loves the Lord. I don't think he would do any such thing. So I would say either it was made up to try to get him in jail for some reason. I would not believe that story unless Chris himself admitted it. Call him.
No, I very much like to. I'd love to ask you for his number after this. I did speak to the boy's mother, and she told me she filed that report. Do you think she's trying to get him in jail for political reasons?
Oh, I've never heard of the mother filing a report. When I talked to the mother just that one time after his visit here, she was excited, said he had a wonderful time, came here and visited, had a great time touring Dinosaur Adventureland, and went back home. It was non-eventful, other than wonderful, even better than Disneyland here.
And you said you spoke with her shortly after her son returned home. Do you remember how many days after? Because she told me that 5 days after he returned home, he opened up to her and told her that Chris Jones acted inappropriately toward him at Dinosaur Adventure.
Okay, this is the first I've heard of that. I think it was the very next day I called her when she said he had a wonderful time, and he said he had a wonderful time. So the dead end street here with me, I don't know any more about it than that.
All right. And even then, the last question I'll go on.
Even then, how does that affect me? Or during a report on Dinosaur Adventureland, we have people come from all over the world here to see the place. I don't control what everybody does in their personal life. What happens here, we monitor. He did not stay with the boy here. They stayed somewhere else, didn't they? That's right.
Not here.
They weren't even here on campus. Okay. We do have cabins people stay in, but he did not stay here. So next question.
Now, okay, I do want to be sure that we're on the same page about that, because my understanding is that they were going to stay in the man cave together. Now that's on campus, right?
Yep.
We do have a man cave with 8 bunks in there, and he did not stay in there.
All right. On the
so
property.
My understanding is that he was going to, somebody was going to make up 2 beds for them in there, which makes sense, and that you said, no, they're going to stay in another cabin. My understanding from that conversation, this was a cabin that had recently the shops had been and that was on campus. Is that correct?
All right, Freddie is here with me. He knows more about it. What happened, Freddie?
The agreement was never to stay here. As a matter of fact, when Chris was coming down here, he was going to stay at that property that Cindy used to own, and that's where he slept. And the person who was taking care of that property at the time was Paul Hansen. When Mia, who used to own that house, had him stay at the property before Cindy had purchased that house, and so they stayed there. And I think the conversation was with Paul Hansen, who had said that he was fixing 2 beds for them there, not on the property. As a matter of fact, they came here late in the afternoon, and I think they had Bible study, and they left, and the following morning when they came back.
So nothing happened here. How's that?
I guess I am still concerned with the core allegation that something did happen. I was shown a voicemail that you left, and I'd love to learn the context of it, because it sounds like you're talking about a police report that the boy's family may have filed. You said somebody, I'm not sure who you're talking about, is a bunch of morons regarding the report. Do you remember that voicemail, and what was the context?
I do not. But, what happens in the rest of the world I can't control, and that nothing happened here. It's if Chris did anything inappropriately. First of all, I don't believe that for a second. But if he did, or maybe it's an allegation, then you need to talk to him, not me. It didn't happen here, and we have nothing to do with it. So why would that even be in a report you're doing on Dinosaur Adventureland? Why do you keep pressing this point?
Well, because it does seem to be a point of concern for a lot of people who've left Dinosaur Adventure. There's a conversation, a meeting that folks had, I think maybe, 2021, it came up with folks' concerns. So, when this does become a point that people bring up when they're trying to talk about Dinosaur Adventureland, I think it's something that's worth noting. And, I just want to nail this down, because, so you're saying that if it's something that happened off campus, well, that's Chris Jones' business. if it did happen off campus, would you let him back on?
Oh, if this can be proven that he did something inappropriate like that, off campus even, I would say, I'm sorry, Chris, you can't come here. I've known him for years. I don't think he did, and as I've told you, I don't believe the report at all. But if indeed it's proven that he did, then yep, case settled. You can't come here. We don't have pedophiles here. Certainly not overnight. People come take the tours. How many people go to Disneyland that are pedophiles?
Couldn't tell you.
Probably thousands. How many people work at your paper that are pedophiles?
No.
You sure? Are you sure?
I'm pretty confident about
Okay.
that.
Okay. I don't know anybody there, but okay. Go ahead.
Right. So I did want to move on to, you've alluded to Cindy Lincoln a couple times. I know you were convicted of a domestic incident regarding her in late 2020. Did you body slam her? Because that's what she says happened.
That is absolute lie. I had nearly broken my left arm a few days before that, building the dining hall. A beam fell on it. I still have the scar. Can everybody see that scar right there?
Yes, sir.
I was holding my phone in my right hand. She dove at me to grab my phone. I turned to the side, pushed her off to the side. She hit the floor, screamed and yelled. And then the next day, you took her to the chiropractor, right,
It
Freddie?
wasn't on the next day though.
When was it?
It was a while after.
Okay, Freddie, tell your side of the story for Cardi.
She was there was no body slam because even me being here with her, she knows very well. It's one of the reasons why I even told her. I said, you going out there and saying that he slammed you, you very well heard the recording and everything that's on the recording. And I asked her, I said, does it sound like that's a body slam? She said, well, I don't care. So that's where she stands with that. And then I'm the one who actually took her to the chiropractor. And while I was driving there with her, we were having a long conversation, which I don't want to put it out in the air. But the last thing that we did say while we got to the chiropractor, she leaned in and she asked me, should I tell the doctor that he body slammed me so I can have a record of it? And I said, would a Christian do such a thing? And she just nodded off and didn't say anything. When she went in, she came back out, she sat next to me, she said, I did it anyways. So I don't know what you understand from that, but what I know is exactly that. Dr. Hovind didn't body slam her.
Okay, we are in the spot where this incident took place in my dining hall. I was sitting in the chair where Billy is. She was screaming. I said, Cindy, my attorneys have told me I have to record when you go crazy like this, and so I turned this phone on right here. After a few minutes, I worked my way around. I was standing in that little hallway 3 foot wide, trying to get out the door, when she dove for me to get my phone. She'd been cursing and swearing the whole time. You can hear it. I don't know if she edited the recording or not that she plays, but we have the original. And when she fell down, she was screaming out of frustration that she can't get my phone. She jumped up, slammed that chair down. These two chairs right here. There's the broken tile. We're sitting on top of it. She slammed the chairs down, broke the tile. I said, Cindy, when she first fell down, you can hear it twice if you listen carefully. I said, Cindy, let me help you up. Are you okay? I never raised my voice one time. She is the offender. It's 100% her fault, and they keep trying to pin it on me. And it sounds like you're trying to do the same thing. No, I did not body slam her. I've never body slammed anybody.
And just when she
Freddie,
cleared.
is Freddie still there?
Freddie's here.
Yeah.
Freddie, you raised an interesting, I think, kind of theological question there. You said, you asked Cindy, would a Christian make that kind of report to the chiropractor? What's your answer? Do you think that's a Christian thing to do?
To slander somebody and actually lie about something like that? I mean, biblical teaching teaches that liars do not inherit the kingdom of God. So she calls herself a Christian. So my thing was, are you a Christian? Subliminally that was my what I was implying. I was just asking her, you're a Christian? Because if you're a Christian, you shouldn't lie about things, especially because you're going to be held accountable for the things you say. And so that's what I was just trying to tell her.
I see, I understand.
And just so you're clear also that when Dr. Hovind got actually convicted, like you say, that case was thrown out. That's why he isn't convicted, and he's having a new trial now, and it's going to be done accurately.
Yeah, it's called de novo. The original one did not happen. So I am not convicted of body slamming her. It's a brand new trial, and they keep putting it off, and it's going to be December now. And some people who know this judge say it's going to be a jury this time. The judge who held the first trial literally does not have any ears. His ears are gone, and he has little hearing aids in there. And he made a bad ruling based on not enough advice, in my humble opinion. but he will have nothing to do with this case. It starts completely over fresh. So do not let anybody say, and don't you publish, please, that I'm a convicted, what is it called? Of domestic abuse. I am not convicted of domestic abuse. There was a trial, one judge found me guilty, and that has been completely thrown out. We start over from scratch.
Okay. And now I was talking with folks who knew James Duncan, and I know that he claimed to have entered a trust with you or Dinosaur Ventureland. Did he enter into a trust with you? And if so, how much money was in that?
James Duncan, remind me, Freddie. Oh, the guy who shot himself.
Mm-hmm.
I had a mini stroke about a year and a half ago, and I lost memory of names, believe it or not. Anyway, so yes, James was a great guy. No, there was no trust entered in. He was an eccentric inventor, genius guy, loved the ministry, good friend, and I have no idea why he did that. There was no contract or trust here, was there?
Nothing.
Freddie, you're the trustee.
Nothing.
Okay. And Randy, you're a trustee? No. Okay. So we have 5 trustees. No, I'm sorry. There's no trust. So who told you that?
I'm just reading something he wrote before he died. He said he entered into something like a close to $100,000 trust, and I'm just trying to figure out why he said that.
Well, that I have no idea. He had all kinds of inventions, and he kept trying to push them off on us. Everybody comes up with good ideas to tell us how we should run the place. Cindy was great at that. Oh, that's what the morning I came out of the bedroom, she'd been in the other bedroom 60% of the time, and for 7 months. And when she said, "Are you going to answer all my texts?" She'd been up all night texting me questions about, you ought to do it this way, fire this person, tell me how to run the ministry. And I said, I'll be glad to record, I'll be glad to talk, and I'll answer all your questions, but I have to record. So she was desperate to try to gain control. James had some good ideas and thought, wow, you better drop whatever you're doing and follow my idea. I got this great invention. And maybe there was a misunderstanding, but there's certainly, I'd like to see a copy of that trust.
So if you have anything like that on hand, I'd like to see it as well.
There is. I'll tell you right now. There is none.
Okay.
There is none. There's nothing to show you. Does his wife have a copy of it?
No, she doesn't.
Okay, there isn't one.
There never was.
Never was one.
And James, I remember the reason why James left here wasn't because of any money trust or anything like that. There was, I believe, because of what he had told us, people here, that there was just a conflict of doctrine that he didn't agree with Dr. Hovind because he believed to be a Jew and he was, observed the Sabbath and all these other things that Dr. Hovind isn't. So that was primarily the reason why their elbows were being rubbed. And then, of course, we got Cindy who goes together with him, who kind of, like I always say, Cindy just decided the more people that she can pull into her armada to try to bash this ministry, that's what she's doing. But it's working pretty bad for her because a good majority of the people that went bashing with her actually had to change their heart, and God changed their hearts. And they're actually coming back and apologizing and making the story the right way now.
Well, after she left, after the marriage was annulled and she's living 5 miles away, she had people come over here and plant bugs in my bedroom and in my van. She had them retrieved later, these listening devices, and had a guy named Steve Boland transcribe all of them. Steve Boland, after listening to 70 hours of recordings when I did not know I was being recorded, and he said, Kent, you didn't do anything wrong. I'm coming back to your side. He's got a YouTube channel, Proverbs 27:17. I've interviewed him on his channel. He's been on my channel. He's now very much in the know with what Cindy did and said this is her fault. Now, how do you fit into this? You worked with Cindy.
I was her assistant for about a month.
I'm sorry. Tell the lady who you are and what you're doing here.
I was Cindy's assistant for about a month, and I helped her move into the new house when she and Doc separated.
She separated, not me.
Yeah, my mom has suffered from mental illness for a long time, so I had experience with, the instability part of it with Cindy. She would have fits of rage. It was...
You were her secretary for a month, or?
Yeah, me and Brooke.
Okay.
And she couldn't hold a secretary because of the drama. No one would want to work for her and it was a hard job to work for. And it was another girl, Brooke. Her and I were here, and using prayer as a means of manipulation. That's the biggest thing I can recall. But her language, not a Christian type of language, not just with words, but she was very conniving in her speak and her actions, and was constantly causing discord amongst the people here, trying to turn people. I would see guests come from all over, but random guests would come whom she'd never met before, and she was talking really bad about Doc during the Science Center tours. Would discuss it was wild. I'm not sure, where or what her deal was, but there was plenty of times where you'd hear her screaming. One day, I hear her screaming really loud, and I go to knock on the door and see if she's okay. She's in here by herself. I don't know if she was on the phone, but when she answered the door, she was all smiles, and it was kind of spooky. One night, she grabbed my arm, and it was kind of aggressive, wouldn't let me go, walked me on the sand dunes up and down, asking me question after question, just digging. There was just always something dramatic going on with her, and I was kind of spooky that night. She was, I can't really, there were so many different things that would red flag her character, and you had to question, Doc all day long. All he does is do these tours, helps people out. Constantly, this is his mind and focus. And for some reason, it was like the more light he was shining, the angrier she got. I don't know. It's hard to explain. It was. I think she might have had ill intentions to try to run the ministry. I don't know. I can't say that for sure, but I do know that when her true colors were shown, they weren't equally yoked, and there was something seriously wrong. Like I said, I had experience with my mother about emotional instability and all the signs, and it was. I kind of had a soft spot for Cindy in my heart because of that. And I helped her move into her new house, and we fixed it up for her. And it was like she was obsessed. When she finally left Doc, Doc would send her flowers and, try to give her chocolates and cards and, trying to, and she was just obsessed. He could never do anything right, no matter what. It was really sad. I don't know what. Nobody knew how to help her. We all tried to talk to her. We all tried to counsel her. There wasn't. She just.
Okay, you were involved in this from the day one. Bobby, did you see me behave unchristian in any way toward her? What did I do wrong?
I've never seen you behave any other way but one, and that's a good, godly man. You got a mission to save souls. He's on the same pair of shoes the whole time I've known him. He's not. All his money is going to help other people. It's it's 24/7. That's all it is. And
if she looks at Doc's video in 2011, he still has the same suit that he had back then today.
I got 3 suits, so you don't need any more than that, do you? Okay.
Ma'am, I'm sorry. I'm not sure how your name is.
Bobby
Jean Owens.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So Bobby's known me for quite a while. Randy, you've known me for 9 years?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell Carly, Randy, longtime friend of mine, he does our tech work here. Tell Carly about what you know.
About Cindy?
And the mic's on that end.
You know what?
The microphone's on the end.
Oh, okay.
Talk into that.
Okay. Doc's just a great guy. Well, as long as I've known him, he's been truthful and, with a status of celebrity, back during his trial days back in 2015, it's all kind of circulated. He's still been under scrutiny from that. And the whole Cindy thing, I'm not, from what all the audio stuff I'm listening to, she seems like a psychopath, really. And that's about all I really know about her. I've never met her really in person or nothing like that. Just from the audio and stuff I've heard.
All right. Cindy lives just 5 miles from here. Okay, Bob, you and your wife have known me for 20 years?
Yes. First met you at a
You need to.
conference you did up in Minnesota.
Okay. Did you know Cindy?
Met her when she was here like 4 years ago. She
Okay.
was a volunteer at that point. And our incident was you told us to burn the leaves along the ditch, and we were doing that. And she came out and yelled at us, barely knew who we were, and we said, well, Mr. Hovind asked us to burn the leaves because they were a fire hazard, so we were burning them on purpose rather than have an accident.
Right.
And she came out and told us to put them fires out, and we said, no, Mr. Hovind asked us to burn the leaves and take care of it so it wasn't a fire danger. And she said, I'm pulling rank on Mr. Hovind, put that fire out. And so we thought, wow, kind of strange.
Anyway. Okay. Carly, any other questions besides Cindy? I mean, you got more on that?
I do. I think the last set of questions I had is about Steve Boland. I understand he's the tech maybe before Randy. Is that right?
Correct. Steve Lynn was our tech guy, and I'm very tech illiterate, and so I have to trust other people to do that. I can't program my own cell phone. Freddie was here the whole time. Steve is very talented and struggles with a few personal issues. He was renting the house off of Cindy, paying her $700 a month to rent that house that she threw him out so she could move in where she is today. So she lost A, her income from here, and B, her income from rent, and now she's financially trapped and wants to blame me. Cindy, I didn't do any of this. Freddie, Steve did some things here to the ministry. He would charge things. He had a ministry credit card. He would buy things that he really should not have and did not have authorization to, but I think he's made most of that up. I mean, he's repented and given us back some things, and so I don't think he's no longer here. And I took him out to lunch a couple of weeks ago and had a talk. First time I talked to him in, a year and a half. So I don't know what I can say about Steve Lynn. He drives a log truck hauling logs to the sawmill. Right.
I did want to say, although I didn't know Cindy all that long, knowing Mr. Hovind as we have has been nothing but a gentleman, nothing but kind, nothing but trying to help people.
Okay. So, and how can I help you with Steve Lynn? I don't.
So, with Steve Boland, so you kind of mentioned it before, but you've been buying some things that maybe he shouldn't have. And I heard a few complaints to that effect. Someone said he, after his arrest in, 21, he confessed. He said he had embezzled money from the ministry. Is that a confession he made? And, what did he say there?
Well, Freddie handles the finances and would know more about that. Did he? I honestly don't know. He had a credit card. Several people here have ministry credit cards. And Cindy or Freddie, what do you know about Steve and financial stuff? Because I don't really know.
Well, yeah, he did some things that he shouldn't have done. But like Doc said, he did, especially the things that he bought, he pretty much gave it back to the ministry on those things. So, yeah.
Yeah. Computer stuff, and Randy, you took over and had a little bit of a mess to clean up from Steve and passwords and things, and so everything's fine now.
Yeah.
Yeah, no issues.
And now, after Steve was arrested, a couple of folks have said that you asked them to go over to Steve's house and clean it out. Is that something you did?
Do you remember that, Freddie? Because he was renting the house from Cindy.
Yeah, well, when Steve did get arrested, he was freaking out. Again, has his issue in his head, and kind of the impression that I had gotten was that he thought they were going to go in there and ransack his house and take his things. And doctors went, the people that were here took him down there. I actually was one of the guys that went there. I was one of the latest guys that went over there. And we brought all the stuff, like again, that Randall was actually going through right now when he just came back. All the IT and all that stuff, we got it back and we had it here in the trailer. And so that's where I was saying that all the things that he had bought and took from the ministry, basically just came back here. Not with Dr. Hovind's. At the time, Doc didn't know that stuff had been purchased with the ministry. But as time progressed, we figured it all out, and sure enough, so everything was left here, and so
There was things like cameras and tripods and fancy expensive things like that, and not things that I did not ask him to buy. He just kind of did on his own, and he'd use it for the ministry and whatever. And then he was really big into photography and taking still nature photos and stuff. And he had wires up across one of the rooms at the house to hang the film up to dry. And Cindy started spreading the rumors that he was tying up women or something to the ceiling, and it's no, not true. But so, ask me any specific questions because I don't know any more about that. I would call Steve tonight. I consider him my friend. I'm a little more lenient with people than some people think I should be. I try to win everybody back. If you mess up, I don't stomp on you. I try to get you back up.
To that effect, somebody said that they saw Steve take some money out of the donation box in the ministry. That they brought that concern to you, and you said, "Let's do it. Steve can do what he wants to do." Did that happen?
I don't know that it happened, and I certainly would never say that.
Okay.
No. If he did, that's news to me.
If he did take money from the donation box, it's news to you.
Right.
Okay. And then, did you take Steve out of rehab after his arrest?
You remember that, Freddie? I don't recall that. He was in rehab. And
the day after when he came out of they bailed him out and took him to the rehab, which he put himself in there.
that's the place down in Bruton.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's when we had that meeting in the kitchen
Okay.
where everyone was concerned about why are you bringing him back to the property. And you just said, I'm not bringing him to the property. I just had to do some things with him. And you came by here with him. And that's why he was here, which we were all upset, including me.
Yeah. Again, that's probably my tendency to be more forgiving and lenient, and I want to help people grow. I don't want to stomp on people,
I think it was Freddie speaking then. Freddie,
That's-
got the name right. Why were you upset at that time?
Well, because, like I said, it was so many things that we had just unraveled, and, he went to jail for stealing, and again, if you're a Christian, stealing is not something that you do. So it's prohibited by God. And so I just felt that if he was, me personally, if you ask me the honest truth, I would have left him. I wouldn't have bailed him out. I would have let him there. I believe in, pay for your actions. And, he went to that rehab center. And so when I seen Doc going after him, I was like, wait, really? You're going to go get him now? That's the impression that I had. I said, he's not going to repent from this, and this is not something you can't just brush it under the. Again, at the time there was a lot of heat, I would say, from a bunch of us here, kind of upset, and it just falls in the same category that I've always talked about, Dr. Hovind. He has a tendency of, I can't say overseeing people's wrongdoing, but mostly he'll notice someone does something wrong, and then it'll just flip his mind, and then he just doesn't think about it anymore. So I think that's one of his worst enemies by doing that. But then if you see as a Christian, you'll understand that is what God calls us to do. So that's a sign of someone who's a Christian. And again, and I'll say this with the honest to God truth, we're all broken and we all fall. And it's none of us to judge each other. That's God's job. And Dr. Hovind illustrates a lot of that. And hey, he's not perfect, neither am I, or anyone in this room right now. We're all broken vessels, and Christ is who actually heals us and makes us perfect. So,
well, and to complete the record, I do know how to drop the axe when I need to. How many people have we said, look, you're done, get out of here, you're no longer welcome to the out? There's a few like that. We just don't tolerate some things, but I want to see everybody serve God. And if they slip up, smack them and get them going again,
Figuratively.
I would not want to, go public with all that. If somebody, messes up, I tell them, look, you know the rules. You knew the rules when you came here. No alcohol, no drugs. You got to leave. But if you get clean and come back, we can talk. So I don't want to get any names out there now. Maybe get some out of somebody else, but I don't give up on anybody forever. Okay? So I'm still hoping some of them will get right with God and come back. Jesus said some of his disciples failed him pretty bad. Even Judas, But so yeah, we've had several in the last couple months. You've taken drugs. Sorry, can't go. We did a drug test. You failed. Goodbye. Even then, though, I've tried lenient. I know that they did it themselves, but I'll give them whatever cash I've got in my pocket. Here's $200 or $300, and I'll help them. Get moving. Here's gas to get out of here. So.
Hey, well, the last question I have, I think it's probably one you're familiar with, but a lot of folks say, this is a cult. Dinosaur is a cult. What do you say to that?
Well, what on earth why would they say that? I'm a Baptist preacher, have been for 48 years. I have 3 earned doctorates and 1 honorary doctorate. I've been an evangelist for many years. What exactly do they mean by... Probably every religion thinks every other religion is a cult. I think the Mormons are a cult. They probably think I'm a cult. Okay, that's a charged word, cult. There are thousands of Baptist churches in Alabama. There's 3 of them in our county, in our city of Lenox, 30 people, So no, I believe the Bible is true. I believe salvation is by a gift of God, by grace through Jesus Christ. We believe the Bible. If I'm indeed a cult, then Alabama has thousands and thousands of cults called Baptist churches. So no, I'm not a cult.
But, one Baptist church isn't the same as another. If one is an allegation, it's not really fair.
Okay, well, give me a specific. What exactly? Why would they say I'm a cult? Do they ever give a specific, or is that just like me just telling somebody you're ugly? How do you defend against a charge like that? What specifically is ugly?
We do Kool-Aid here, by the way, but
Freddie makes it Kool-Aid.
but no one has died from it, so that would be an inclination of a cult. And also, doesn't a cult have, like the leader is like, you do what I say, or you have to leave, or the master will whip you tonight, or something like that? Because I don't get the cult.
Ask them to define what they mean by cult and how we fit that description, so that I can't defend against that. You've given a generic word that is too fuzzy.
Let me check it and see if I have anything helpful to see. I guess where that criticism comes in is folks claim that there's not a lot of tolerance of deceptive and circle treatment. Saying that if they do push back against either your ministry or the way things are run, that they don't feel like that criticism is welcomed, and that it's kind of hard to get outside perspective, that it's a very kind of walled situation, kind of insular.
So we don't take. Slow down one at a time. We don't take advice. You can't voice your dissent. Is that what they're saying, Freddie? You've been here the whole time.
I got it. The thing that I actually have come across a bunch of people here with that same kind of question. So my thing is always this. For instance, you run a paper. Do you run the paper you work for?
I don't want to know.
Someone runs it, right? So the guy who runs the paper, do you guys tell him how to run the paper, or does he tell you this is what right? I mean, at the end of the day, if Dr. Hovind says, I want to build a cabin that's 4x4, and you say, well, no, Doc, if a person is 6 feet, he's not going to fit in here. We need it 6 feet high. You know what I mean? Like, Dr. Hovind doesn't tell nobody, no, you're not allowed to do this. And whoever does say that is a liar. And I always say this, Doc always tells people, just go and do what I'm asking you to do. I think anyone who works anywhere, when the boss tells you, or the person in charge, or the person who's leading the zoo tells everyone what to do, then we all do what he tells us to do. If not, you can go. I think that's how that works.
Yeah, gates are never locked.
And I find it funny though, because here anyone can go, and the majority of the problem is that we can't get no one to go.
How many people do you feed every day, Freddie?
On a normal day, when there's about 40 people. Yeah.
So if they can't, if I think what's like with Cindy as an example, she wanted, like I told you guys, burn the leaves. She came out and said, I'm pulling rank. Don't burn them. that would be an example of her being a cult leader, not me.
Yeah, amen.
I take advice, I listen to opinions, and once we discuss it all, here's how we're going to do it, okay? And Joe, you've been here a long time, you and Bobby, your wife?
Yeah, I think that that cult business is crazy because like we don't like a lot of different doctrines being pushed around. You don't, but we've had SDA folks come through here, Calvinist, Reformation people come through here, and
Atheists?
atheists come through here. I mean, we were going to start a podcast called "The Worst Cult Ever" because everybody here believes something different. So flat earthers come through here. I mean. Not that we condone any of that, but I guess the door is open. If you're willing to work and you love the Lord, then the door is open.
Yeah.
So,
Jesus is black, type of thing.
If you, can you tell me something about flat earthers who've come there, because they're my favorite.
well, I don't want to say a name, but I remember one night, me and Kansas Bill had a 4-hour conversation in the old man cave with this flat earther, and he just would not stop. That was his only purpose in coming. He wanted to convince Doc that the earth was flat. And he only lasted like a day and a half because he knew he wasn't gaining any ground here. Yeah. But he was welcome, is the point. I mean, it's not a cult, I mean.
And that goes also for anybody who does come through here, because someone was interviewing Dr. Hovind and says, "Is it true, Kent, that you have ex-cons there?" And Doc is like, "Anybody's welcome to come." And if you live by Christ's, but what Christ did to us, we are all wretched people. So, are you forgiven? If you vowed for forgiveness, then yeah, you're welcome.
Hey, I'm an ex-con.
There you go.
I was in prison. I didn't do anything wrong. I think all Jesus' disciples were arrested for something, and even Jesus was arrested. He's an ex-con. As far as the flat Earth, I taught Earth science for 15 years. I'm very, very familiar with this. I'm really good at trigonometry and mathematics. Kansas is flat. The rest of it is round. I'm sorry, got too much noise here. What now? Go ahead.
I was just going to say this all the questions I had written down for now. If I have any final questions, maybe you call this number.
Sure, this is my cell phone. Text me when you want to talk. Whoever's telling the cult, tell them I said it's slander. They should shut up. Okay?
All right, well, thanks. Y'all have a good night.
All right, thank you. Bye. Bye-bye.